Good evening, everyone. We are back. We are back. That's right. It's the Quarantine Concert Series. You know what's going down. I'm your host, Kavir Segal, coming to you live from the ATL, Atlanta, Georgia, from my parents' place. They are sleeping upstairs, but I think my mom secretly watches. So, hi, Mom. Please get off the internet. I need a fast Wi-Fi connection. So if you're watching at home and it starts to flicker, you know who's watching. All right. So this is show number 56. 56 in like 40-something days. We're addicted to this binge producing shows. What a wonderful episode we have in store for you tonight, an acclaimed pianist. But before we get to that, I want to explain what we're doing. If you're new to the broadcast, we're doing this because all the gigs have gone away. When this quarantine happened, we were all recommended to do physical distancing. I don't like to say social distancing, but physical distancing. And we started this broadcast to put the spotlight back on the artists, back on the people who deserve it. They gave us their mind, body, and they lift our spirits throughout the year. And my heart fell when I saw the gigs that were canceled, all the jazz clubs were closed. And so I've seen one estimate that, Carnegie Hall has canceled gigs into 2021. So it's really a tough time out there, and we need to be there for the creative community. There's always been a link between patrons and artists, going back to the Middle Ages. So we need to, if you know someone in the creative economy, whether it's an artist or a producer or engineer, booker, manager, a lot of people affected by the situation that's going on. So please reach out to them. Buy the music, stream the music, buy the merchandise, do whatever you can to support those in the creative economy, because that's where we need to be showing the love. So that's what's going down. We're here every night at 10 p.m. Eastern, and we do matinee sessions also on the weekends at 3 p.m. So I also want to share, I want to thank our partners at All About Jazz. They're an incredible website started in 1995 by Michael Ritchie. If you're an artist, please go there and make a page. If you're a patron, of course, please go make a donation. There's a lot of great journalism happening there. Unfortunately, the last few weeks, we've had a lot of people in the jazz community leave us because of this terrible pandemic. And they're chronicling All About Jazz, the wonderful lives of these incredible musicians, the Ellis Marcelluses, the Lee Konisses of the world that have left us. So if you want to get hip to how this pandemic is affecting the jazz community, especially, please check out the journalism at All About Jazz. We've also started a quarantine film series. I just finished making my first film this year, and I realized all the film festivals were canceled. So in the mornings at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, most mornings we are having conversations with directors of films that have been accepted into top festivals like South by Southwest, Tribeca Film Festival. And, they're having the same issue. It's hard to sell movies. It's hard to find sales agents. So we're trying to create the spotlight, put the spotlight that we have and put it on these incredible filmmakers like this man, Frank Licari. He did a film on the Jose Feliciano, the wonderful singer-songwriter. So keep it tuned here in the morning. No, I do not have a life. I host the show at night with musicians, and I wake up in the morning and do the broadcast with filmmakers. So where can you find us? Oh, actually, first, you can find us everywhere. But the word of the day, there's a music word of the day. There will be a pop quiz at the end of the broadcast. So if you watch the entire show and you can tell me what the word of the day is at the end of the broadcast, please let me know in the comments. We'll come give you a prize. This word is inspired. We have a French-American musician. So we picked a French word today. Fouet, the French term for a slapstick or whip, fouet. And there will be no fouets on this show or this episode unless he really has a surprise for us, but I don't think he's going to be playing the fouet tonight. So that is the word of the day. All right. So pop quiz coming up, end of the broadcast. All right. And then where can you find us? Find us on the Facebook, find us on the Twitter, find us on the very delicious Instagram cracker. It goes nice with a marshmallow. You can make a s'more out of it. Very nice. We're also on LinkedIn. One out of every 5 Americans have lost their jobs because of this pandemic. It's crazy. So if you're on LinkedIn, our heart goes out to you. And if you're searching for a job, give us some of your time, and we're going to leave you inspired and motivated to go back and crush your job search. And hopefully you'll be with us and live with us in the moment. We're also on YouTube. We're also on Twitch. We're also just everywhere now. So Periscope, that's where you can find us. All right. If you want to be on the show, if you're an artist who wants to get on the broadcast, please let me know via Facebook or Instagram. We do have, several dozen people on the waiting list, but don't let that deter you. I do discuss, we do look at everyone and try to consider all the factors. So, 10, 15, 20, 30,000 people views per episode now, even more. We're really delighted by the reception that this broadcast is getting. So that's the public service announcements. That's not why you watch this show. You watch it because of the incredible artist. And I'm very delighted to introduce a multi-Grammy nominated artist, composer, band leader, conceptual artist, music score, film score, maestro. He's a very delightful individual. I met him a couple years ago actually in Europe. We were playing at a performance together, and he's just wonderful all around. And I think you're going to really love his solo piano work. He's put out a new CD. We'll talk about it. Please welcome to the show the incredible virtuoso maestro Christian Jacob. Bonjour, Christian.
Bonjour. Hi, Kabir. How are you?
Good. Ça va bien? We can talk in French.
Ok. Ça va bien. Tout va bien. Oui. Ici aussi.
Wait. Good. Yes, I don't want to lose the entire audience, but
No.
that's all the French I knew. So tell me first, where are you broadcasting from?
Well, from my home in Los Angeles, in sunny California, which is deserted right now. Huh?
And tell me how has the quarantine life affected you? What were you going to do that you no longer can do because of this quarantine?
Well, mainly going out to perform, really. I still have a possibility of arranging, composing, thank God. And I'm doing it for me if I'm not doing it for anyone else. But mainly going out. Mostly, I'm more of a on the road player. I had cancellations. Of course, I was in New York just when this thing happened. I was at the Cafe Carlyle with Betty Buckley. And we had a 2 weeks thing, and we had to cancel the second, so we still did the first one. We actually were one of the last band playing in New York City. And then after that, I was supposed to go to Birdland with the Tierney Sutton Band, and then going to Switzerland to the Jazz Hour Festival, doing a Maynard Ferguson tribute. And then going to France to do a little tour, starting in my hometown, of Metz. So, all of that is gone, and I hope it will come back.
Totally. How are you spending every day? Do you have a routine? Are you going for a daily walk? How are you passing the time? Are you writing a lot more? What's quarantine life like in one day of Christian Jacob?
Well, yeah, actually, I'm actually now waking up very early, and because of the quarantine, and I'm going out, when it's still night, like at 5 in the morning, and have a walk with my wife. We do like a good 40-minute walk every morning. We love doing this. And then I fire up the computer, and I've been actually doing things. I mean, you see on the internet all those. I've done a couple of those filmed production. I did one with 12 pianists. On a Ray Charles tune. And then I've done also a big band for Maynard Ferguson, which is still not out. And then I'm working on a new tune with my cohorts from the Tierney Sutton Band, trying to do some original music, which we really don't have done. We don't have done so far. uh, much of original music, you know. So we're working on something like that, each one separately, but that's interesting, trying. And then, yeah, I mean, I'm practicing. I'm kind of back practicing a little.
Awesome. The song was Georgia on My Mind, right?
Yes, yes.
I'm down here in Georgia, so
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
love to.
yeah, of course. It just came out, you know, a couple of days ago or something like that.
Yeah, and I just had to say for the world, if you're going to be practicing, watch out. I think it's going to be, you know, you're already amazing. So I think we're all, I think all these artists are going to come out of quarantine and be like super polished after woodshedding. What would you like to begin your set with?
Well, I'd like to start with the one with an original, which is actually on my latest album, The Originals. And that's actually the last cut. It's called Wilder Will Find.
Yeah. Awesome. So good. That was awesome, man. Sounds so good. I want everyone to put some applause up on the screen, and I'm gonna put it up there. Bro, when we hear you, Bro, when we hear you comment about the sound thing, I'm trying to have a conversation. I know my volume jumps up. We're just trying to do the best with our sound quality that we can. Thanks for everyone's patience. We're just trying to make you sound as good as possible. We have a lot of applause. Maxime, John McBride, Carla saying wow, Gina saying bravo. We want to know where you're watching from. So tell us where you're watching from. We have Atlanta over here, Los Angeles over there. So if you put it up on the screen, yay! I'll do it. I'll do it. If you do the emoji, I'll do it. So we do have some questions coming in. I'm just going to read them to you. Jay Anna wants to know, what kind of piano are you playing?
Well, this is Yamaha, and this is kind of it's a G5, which is a lower C7. It's kind of like a C7, a little cheaper version. But I found that piano in a store, and I just fell in love with it. I really like the singing quality and the sustain it has. So I bought it. It was actually a good deal.
It seems like it. We have Santa Fe in the house. We have Grand Rapids in the house. Connecticut in the house. Have you been to all these places, Christian, on tour?
Yeah.
Have you been to Santa Fe?
Yeah, Santa Fe. Yeah, with Gary Burton actually, a long time, maybe 20 years ago. Yeah.
How about Michigan? You been to Michigan?
Michigan, yes, with Maynard, and I think with Tierney. We've been there a couple of times. Yes.
Sue Loudon's joining in from Las Vegas. You been to Las Vegas?
Oh, Las Vegas. Yes. I mean, yes, I've been there. Oh yeah, the Smith Center. I'm playing there a lot in Las Vegas. Yeah.
And Lillian's watching from Brazil. How about Brazil?
Oh, Brazil. You know, I did go there with Maynard in '93, maybe. No, 92. 1992. Yeah. It was fantastic. Yeah. Great.
You've been everywhere. Where have you not been that you want to play on tour? Tahiti, maybe.
Yeah, actually, that's true. Islands. Yeah, Tahiti. I haven't been.
I gave you that answer. What about another place?
Well, let me think. You know what? I'm thinking. No, I've been there. I've been there.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been there.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, well, I keep thinking. Jeff Clausen has another tough question. Your favorite jazz pianist? Who are your favorite jazz pianists?
Well, you know, it's always the one I get crazy about when I started. You know, my very first discovery was Dave Brubeck, and then of course I discovered Oscar Peterson. Then I discovered Bill Evans, you know, and then Keith Jarrett. So I mean, I went into all those different phases, and you know, now I mean, I'm a big fan of Jacob Collier. You know, and but it really goes with suddenly what I'm touched with. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we love to hear another one. And before you start playing, I think our sound team says if you can bring up your your microphone volume when you speak as well.
Oh, okay. The other one is okay for the piano?
Other one sounds good. Yep.
So for the speaking one, oh, I'm already up. Okay, I can do that. Like this. Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
So next.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to play My Romance. All right, that's
Allons-y.
back to standard. All right, bye.
Yeah. We love you. Look at all the love you're getting. You got Boston. We have some love from North Carolina. I want you to put the smileys up on the screen. We want to see diversity of applause. Ram San Miguel, that's right. Some diversity up in there. We got a smiling cat for you coming in from California. See, some more. If you do it, if you put it, I'll see. We got some of this going on. Tell us where you're watching from. Give the man some applause. Lorna in Japan. It's got you hooked up with some thumbs up.
Yeah, Japan.
Texas is in the house.
Ah, Betty.
Amazing as always. It's Ray Parker. Bravo. See, I'm a conductor too. Watch this. Ready? Boom.
Oh.
See? I've learned from the best. I learned from you. I'm just observing how you have control over an entire suite of musicians. Tell me about the originals. Tell me about. I know you told me a little bit about it, but let's put the cover up on the screen. Walk me through the composition process and selecting the repertoire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I always did the standards, many trio. I love trio. Piano trio. It's my I don't even know, 5th, 6th, 7th album. But anyway, there's always mainly standards, which in the jazz community is like basically why you buy CDs. I mean, not anymore, but anyway, you see what I mean. And but I always had some original music that I had on the side, and then I suddenly decided I'm gonna do an album which is gonna be only originals, and so I took some from some of them are very old that I wrote like 25, 30 years ago, and then of course I wrote some especially to complete that album, and then I put that together into a story. First I thought, what am I going to call it? Well, the originals, but it's not very original, to call it. And so then I thought, well, I'm going to turn that into a trio of superhuman or superheroes, who basically are connected by music. So so if in the idea of the CD in there now is basically a fantasy story of the originals, for the search of scroll, and there's a fantastic story. But then every tune is connected to the story. So I had a lot of fun with my wife for the story, and then I liked the music so much. When we recorded it, I felt so good. I guess so personal. So and then I decided to record a string section over it. So we did record the trio, and then I later wrote for string that I added on top. So basically a background of strings on the majority of tunes, not all of them, but most of them.
Gotcha. Some questions coming in. Who's your favorite superhero of all time?
Well, I guess when I was young, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
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 And when I was young, because and all those one superhero nowadays, I'm not really following. Not that I don't like them, but
actually talking about Spider-Man, we're getting a lot of questions. I can put them up on the screen about what is the reach of your left hand? How far can it extend? And willing
basically the 10th. The 10th. Really,
please ask Christian about his left.
Sorry, you're breaking up, yeah. But I got the question. So
I said,
go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, basically, my left hand has the 10th, but the good 10th, what I mean is, for example, E flat to G, I get it. So I can even put the B flat in the middle. So it's almost like if I force, I do an 11th, but I'm not really using it. But 10th, no problem. So I know it helps.
What would you like to play next?
Well, next I want to do try to show and explain a little how I came up with that arrangement. First, I chose the tune T42, which is the very first tune I ever learned to improvise on. I had in my hometown a jazz piano player who taught me, and so we took that tune and I learned to improvise on it. So the CD I did before the original was called Beautiful Jazz, and here is basically all standards that I have rearranged, and so T42 I wanted to do. So, but my arrangement is basically my process was that each chord I changed all the chords, but they all gave me a little weird feeling. It's just, oh, it's not quite right, but it's. But then over the time, suddenly it feels right. But each chord is supposed to shock you just a little, not too much. It's not out, but you'll see. Here it is.
Yeah, yeah. Vraiment incroyable.
Merci.
Wait, wait, de rien.
Merci.
Very beautiful. We have so many questions coming in.
Oh,
I'm just
cool.
I'm just gonna keep firing them. What was it like working with Clint Eastwood, and I'm working on the score for Sully?
Oh, that was fantastic. It was such a great thing for me because it was a little different, and everything went so fast. Also, it was really each. I did a couple movies, you know, and it was really always fast. Clint is really into the improvisation part of. I think the way he films is also kind of goes with the moment and the thing. So he really didn't want me to work too much and wanted that improvised kind of feel. And but he was with us like the first movie. Sully was actually with also Tierney and the band, Tierney Sutton band. So and even though I wrote some of the melodies, Clint wrote also the main one here, and he was very involved with the band. What he wanted the band to really work, I guess the way we work, which is kind of you know, going back and forth, and everybody gives their ideas. It was not, you know, me 100%, and so, and he was in there, was kind of part of the band. So it was kind of a work like that. That was for the movie Sully, and then after that I did the 1517 to Paris, which was, you know, the story of a train in France, and I guess he chose me also because of that.
Yeah.
And this was I did more of a trio thing, which was also more maybe a little less improvised, this one, but that was fantastic. I mean, I love it, and I have to call him, yeah, for the next one.
Yeah. Yeah. A good question from Brian saying, "What advice do you have for developing a sense of pulse? Your time is so solid, and you don't even tap your foot."
Huh. Well, actually, I'm a pretty moving. Sometimes I see some piano player who don't move at all. I kind of move, but anyway, I always, you know, time. Time. I always there's a. I don't know if we are talking metronome or something. People are always saying, well, you have to use the metronome, and or, you know, you shouldn't. I always think that you have to develop your own metronome. So working with a metronome is great because it really shows you the most perfect time, and then working without it is very important too. So you develop your own, you know, and there's a point where you really feel a little uncomfortable when the time start moving a little, you know, and like, for example, well, back again on the Tierney Sutton band, we are, you know, all 4 or 5 of us have like a crazy time. All of us are kind of, I'm not calling that perfect time, but you know, it's everybody's very on the time, and the more the time seems natural and strong, and the more free you are to improvise and thing. And me from Europe, I have a tendency sometimes to move a little with the time and go back to it. But a lot of people don't like that. They actually think I don't have a good time, because sometimes I like to. It comes from my classical background, and where I kind of suddenly like to push a little,
Yep.
then put the balance back, and then so. But it's my way of improvising, and
Yep.
it doesn't apply to every tune either. If I do a, you know, an old stride or something, there's no moving time there. You know.
Gotcha. Some rapid fire questions. Who did you study to get your evolved sense of harmony? Who did you study with?
Oh, well, I you know, not no one for harmony. Really, no one in particular. I really have been always attracted with harmony, and what I know I did is I started very basically, and I think that's what eventually helped me, because most of the time people really, oh, I love that sound, that chord or something like that, but I learned about guide tones, the third, the seventh, which are the skeleton of a chord, and then whatever is besides that, I mean, of course, the root is important, but whatever is beside that is can be called a 9, 11th or something. But at first, when I didn't care what it was called, I was like, oh, that's a different color to the same chord. Oh, that's a different. So, oh, I like this one, I like this one. And then the next chord is very important too. So I think the succession is really where the importance is. Like, one nice voicing is nice, but it won't be as nice if the one before that doesn't bring it up somehow, or is not connected to it, or unless you want a shock. So it really depends also. It's all part of arranging or composing. What do you want to do at that time? Yeah, I mean, okay, I can't.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's hard to explain.
But you're explaining it well. All right.
Okay, good.
What would you, I think we can squeeze in these last two songs. So
Cool.
let's do it. Allons-y.
All right. Well, let's do a 7/4. So let's do That's All. It's a ballad which I kind of want to do in a faster 7.
Awesome.
Fun little piece.
So yeah, I liked it. Some more great questions, and I don't want to. I want to just. This is one of the most engaged audience in terms of asking like music I don't want to call it nerd questions, but people are asking about reharmonization. What is your approach to reharmonization? That's a question. That's a question no one gets asked on the show except for you. So please tell us about your reharmon and do it quickly because we got to squeeze in your next song. Really.
Yeah. Well, again, reharmonization is the root is the most important. So you maybe choose your bass first, where it is, and then really listen. Do it with your ears. Again, as I said, you can do a very complicated reharmonization with a very simple voicing. Maybe try, just 3 and 7. Like choose a bass, do 3 and 7, and then start adding tensions on, and then you. I mean, that's I can't really go too much into it unless I start showing examples, and also, but it's all in the ear. And then, what do you want to do? Where do you want to shock? If you do a reharmonization on a certain melody, on what note do you want people to say, oh, that type of thing. And so it takes some time, and you gotta really take time to and if you love it like me, it goes quick.
Got it. Cool. There is some requests for you to do your own live reharmonization live cast. So take that for what you will.
All right. I'll think about it.
Okay. But what would you like to finish?
Okay. Well, with? I want to do a tune by Michel Petrucciani. It's one of the trio CD I had done was on the music Michel Petrucciani, a French jazz player who passed like 20 years ago. Fantastic, but he had some great tunes, and no one ever played those tunes, so that's why I did the CD with all these tunes that I reharmonized, but that's his tunes. So this one is My Bebop Tune.
Yeah. Christian Jacob, everyone.
Thank you.
I want to see the love up on the screen.
Thank you, Kabir.
Question.
Thank you.
Magnifique.
Thank you so much. Wow.
Fake flowers.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, he did it. What an incredible performance.
Oh, wow. Wow.
You get my mom's fake plant too. She kept a fake plant.
That's great. Kabir, thank you so much. Wow. Oh. Oh.
A nice wine for you.
Oh, yeah.
Champagne.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you. I'll have some of that. Thank you, Kabir, for doing this, man. For having me. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. It was really beautiful. Look at all the incredible feedback you're getting. Wonderful.
Cool.
So thank you, Christian, for being on the. Thank you, Christian, for being on the broadcast. You're just a remarkable musician, artist. I love hearing your music. It's been really a privilege to have met you in person and to just be in your company. You're always such a class act.
Thank you.
For everything you do. So, best of wishes to you. Happy health, and hope to see you in live soon.
Thank you, and keep doing what you're doing, Kabir. It's great. I really enjoy it, and so does everyone else.
Thank you, my friend. All right, I want to give a quick. I want to talk to you about, tell everyone about tomorrow night, and also give a quick shout out to the sound. Oh, first of all, go to christianjacob.com, buy the music, stream the music, check out his website, subscribe to him on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Just engage with the social media, because if you like the show, it's even better, of course, on the streaming services and with good quality audio. All right, christianjacob.com. Say hello to our sound and tech team. Thank you so much, Sandra and Camila, for the sound check. They don't have any buttons on their side to control the audio, so we have to work with the artist before each broadcast. Go to their website, info@soundworksrecording.com, or their soundworksrecording.com. If you mention one of their two dogs, Maui or Oreo, you will get a discount. If you're a musician out there, please look them up for their audio services. And let me tell everyone about tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we have a great artist. We're going to be moving from jazz to classical. We have an opera singer, John Brancy, Grammy-winning opera singer John Brancy, singing tomorrow night for us and for you, obviously. And please tell me what the word of the day is. What was the word of the day? Drop a comment. I'll come find you, give you a prize. What was the word of the day? All right. Everyone, thanks so much. It's been a great, and